Hi.
Hi there. Just give me 1 second.
Yep. So sorry I was not here.
Ugh, I can't call. Why? You're calling my mom as well. And I'm gonna get grounded. She's literally recording something. No.
I think that's her background.
That's her son.
That's funny.
That's her
She's
son.
recording something.
Well, right before you showed up, you said, "Okay, guys, I'm recording."
Right. I sent the text to my family. I'm in my room doing this. No one come in.
Call the
Oh,
group.
Oh my gosh.
that's fun. I'm John, by the way. I'm the interpreter for today. Nice to meet you.
Awesome. Thanks for being here, John.
Thanks for having us. I'm sorry if I look goofy. I'm used to having my two screens, but the other one's broken right now, so I'm trying
No,
to do everything on
no
one
worries.
screen. And
I just keep.
yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. I found your book. I'm gonna have to
Awesome.
edit the whole part out. I was the
Yeah.
first down book. I looked all over my million bookcases and over there
Right.
and on my desk and my bookshelf behind me. It was right behind me the whole time.
Of course it
I
was.
have the book.
Oh, there she
Number
is.
of the word paperback or hardcover because most of my books are hardcover. That was I can't remember. So I have the book.
Yay, we found it.
Definitely right before you came on, I was acting my friend John. I was like, don't know that the follow time change or daylight savings got that. I was like, wow,
And I
really
think
trying
I
something new.
and there was one other thing that I scheduled before the time change, and I think I remembered. I was like, okay, when that time comes, will the time difference will not be the same, but I obviously didn't remember that with this one. So I'm glad I had Instagram up and saw your message.
For sure, because I was like, wow, maybe we should have a time zone. But then again, I don't want to confuse Andrew more with all the different time zones because he was
Right.
late for a podcast the other time. So we need to have like a lecture time zone, get rid of some time zone so
I know.
everybody could be so happy and connect at the same time.
Same time. And it's only Arizona that doesn't do daylight savings time. So, but we're always half the year it's one thing and half the year it's another thing, but we all made it.
Okay. Okay, enough of the time zone stuff. But I'm happy I messaged you on Instagram. I'm like, okay, we're here
Yeah, me
now,
too,
so
me
we can
too.
definitely start the podcast.
We got it. We got it.
I hope you noticed my shirt. I bought my shirt for my friend Peter Justin Beckham.
Oh my gosh, were you is that the one that was in the movie?
No, no, no. I
No.
ordered it for my friend Boutique. I think I'm
Oh my
gonna
gosh.
wear that for the podcast. So I wore it for the podcast.
Because I don't know if you saw Hallmark is doing this thing where it's a different company is like selling some of the clothes that are worn in the movies. And so they had like shirts like that and other shirts of the movies. And when I finally went online to order them, they were sold out. So, but that is
Dang, I
perfect.
thought I noticed them. I'm wondering if that's from my brand company or was it a complete different company. So
Right.
I have to order one because I was going to do that originally with Andrew in the bar, but he
Hmm.
got busy.
Right.
Thing came up, so I'm not going to do it with the podcast. But I have Sarah, so I'm going to
Now
work
you have a
baby
chance.
teacher for Sarah.
Yay, I love it.
All right. Well, Sarah, I really appreciate you finding the time the last couple of months since the movie aired and the book released to come on to the Cast Chat podcast to talk about your writing and the book adaptation into the Hallmark movie. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me on.
Before we dive into everything, tell me a little bit about yourself, like what made you become an author, what inspired you to write? Was it something you've always done, or was it something new? That was like, hey, I'm gonna write a book. See what happened.
It was a lot like that actually. I mean, I've always written, but usually like nonfiction for kind of work purposes. I didn't write fiction until I started this book, until I started writing Birding with Benefits, in 2020. So, I'm a librarian now, and at that time during the pandemic, I had just started graduate school to become a librarian. And in one of those classes, I read a romance novel, and I had, as a kid, I had always my mom read a lot of romances, and I was always like thumbing through them for fun. It was like all my early like sex education was from her like Harlequin paperbacks. Um, but I hadn't read romance as an adult until I was in this class in library school. And I just really, really loved it. I loved that it was a genre that focused on joy and pleasure. And I knew that it was going to have a happy ending. And especially at that period of time, like it was 2020, we were like moving into the 2020 presidential election. We were all home with this scary pandemic happening. And so for me, reading romance was this great reliever of anxiety for me. And so I was just reading it voraciously. And then one day I was like, I think I want to try to write one of these. And I actually emailed a friend and I said, like, I think I want to write a romance and it's going to be about bird watching. And the bird watching was just part of the desire to write from the very first. And that was because I've been a birder for a long time. I love birding and I grew up here in Arizona, which is where the book is set. And so I knew that writing something about birding would also give me a chance to just put a lot of scenes outside, do a lot of nature writing, which is something I've always really loved. So those things just all kind of came together for me. And I tried to write a book and it worked out.
That's amazing. Sometimes if you have an idea, like during the pandemic, I am a teacher. So I had to like make sure my schedule and my planning for virtual teaching at home aside for my kids. So I was very grateful that I started first. And then like a couple of weeks later, my kids started. So it gave me time to settle down and I would think I have a lot of time on my hands because I know sometimes my kids don't come into my classroom to get some
Right,
support. So I think I'm going to
right,
start writing a book, get an idea. So I had a little bit written down, but then back
right.
burner because everything got busy. I'm
Yeah.
not going back and forth between my students, the classes, and my kids. Mom, I need help. I don't know how to
Yeah.
do this. So now I've been writing my memoir for almost
Oh,
2 years. So it's almost done. I'm trying to finish it up before 2026 so I could sign a contract with an editor and then go through the editing process. And I'm like, I'm nervous. I gave my book to 5 of my friends. And they were like, this book is amazing. It's well written from your perspective. I'm like, really well written? She goes, yeah, well written with a little bit of grammar stuff. But that's all for editing. I was like, oh, I think, were you nervous? I'm like, yeah, I was nervous.
right.
I One day I sat down, I just word vomit everything for like a good 2 or 3 hours. I got like maybe 5 or 8K down to
Right.
the outline. Just so I'm in the process for that. So it was really interesting because I've always wanted to know birding with benefits. Okay, how did that topic come up? Was it something personal or was it something that you were born with and you said you grew up in Arizona, like to watch burn? It's just very fascinating how to take all of that into a book, especially explaining the concept of burn watching. Go outside, sit, wait, be with nature.
Uh-oh.
Look at my internet. Okay. Am I better now?
Uh-oh, my side paused here. I don't know if you guys can still hear me, but Cat paused for me. It's okay. Okay, now you're back.
All right.
Can you hear me okay?
Oh,
Okay, we're here, we're here.
all right.
I heard most of that, but then all of a sudden you stopped. But we were talking about the bird watching and being in nature.
Yeah, all of
Well,
that.
and with
That
the
was good.
birding, a lot of people I was just gonna say a lot of people were like have asked me like why would you think that birding would go with romance? And my take has always just been like, why wouldn't it? Like because
Right.
part of it is being outside and being in nature, but I also think birding involves a lot of like paying attention, which I think is a really great thing to have in a partner, right? Like somebody who can slow down and really pay attention. And I think when a lot of people start birding, which was my experience of it too, it's this really exciting feeling because birds are literally all over the place. And so once you start noticing them, they're everywhere. And it's like you're able to see the world in this different way, right? And for me, that was a really great like metaphor for kind of going through midlife, like Celeste is in the book and the movie, and also for falling in love, right? And sort of seeing things in a different way. And so for me, birding has always been very romantic, and it felt very natural to put it into a book.
Yeah, like watching the movie. I thought, oh, it's so cute. I should love the movie concept, and then found out about the book. So I got the book, and I was like, Sarah, what have you done? And I'm trying not to read the book and picture Andrew Walker, and then
Yeah,
I
it's
need to
funny
pick up
to
somebody
go
else.
It's funny to go from the movie to the book, right? Because you would already have these people in mind, and then the book is much spicier than the movie, and so that would I'm trying to make sure folks know that, like if they see the movie and they're interested in the book, I'm like, listen, this is not the book is not Hallmark, okay? It's
Definitely, definitely. Like the Hallmark movie, I think it was called Autumn in the Barnyard with Brandon Pandy and Rachel Lee Cook. And I have the book. The book was right there. I was just like, okay, if there's a Hallmark movie and a Hallmark adapted book, I'm gonna message the author. I'm like, is this book like the Hallmark movie or is it right there? Because if it's right
right.
there, I would like to read it both before watching the
Mhm.
movie. Because that's the
Before you
only
have the
time I
actors
read
in
the
your
book
head.
I'm immersed and I'm like, okay, Andrew, okay. And then when I see him in person, I'm like, hi, Andrew.
I know. It's pretty funny.
Definitely, definitely. Okay, what was in general, what is your process for book writing? Like, what did it look like? Did you come up with an idea first? Did you develop the characters? Did you develop the plot? How did you plan out the writing for the book in general?
That's a great question. I think a big part of me is still learning that, even though at this point I've written what Birding with Benefits came out. I have another book that's all complete that comes out in February, and I've written a couple of other books to completion that aren't out in the world, but I still feel like the process is ever evolving, you know? I think of a general concept first. And then it's all about the characters because I think in a story the real tension is between these characters and what they need and want and what they think they need they want what they think they need and want, and then you sort of build a story around them that is going to push them to face those things. um so I try to start there, like I'll have an overall concept like birding or beekeeping, which is my next book, but then within that it's thinking about what are these characters, how do they fit together, and what needs to happen around them to sort of keep pushing them towards each other. And then I I rewrite a lot. So I mean, I rewrote Burning with Benefits several times. It existed in many, many iterations. The first full draft of it didn't have a birdwatching contest, so that indicates like how much things change as I revise. So a lot of it, I kind of will go through a draft and I'm just getting to know the characters and then my next go around I'll sort of know the better scenarios to put them in, and every revision you're just kind of like tightening the screws on all of it.
The beekeeping book, is it like is it standalone book or is it like connecting with burning with benefits? No,
No, it's not. It's a
standalone book,
standalone. Yeah.
complete different. Okay,
Yeah.
not spicy, is it?
Yeah, yeah, of course it is.
Okay, okay, hopefully Hallmark that will stand up a movie, but I'm not gonna be watching that movie. I need that book first.
Yeah, read the book first if that happens.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, who knows? I'm like, okay, different actor to actor. I'm like, nope, nope, nope. I'm staying away from Hallmark Channel until I get that book and read it. I'm like, okay, now I'm ready for the
Now
movie.
I can see these
Who
people.
knows? I might even think about Andrew in the next book. You never know. You never know.
I mean, he did do a Hallmark beekeeping movie. I can't remember what it's called, but they're like in Malta.
By the time, it was honey, love and honey,
Yeah,
something
maybe.
like that. It was
I
really
really
good.
liked that one. Yeah, I really liked
Yeah,
it.
it was really good. So tell me about how did the book become a Hallmark movie? How did it happen?
Man, it was so cool. Well, when a book is bought by a publisher, there's like this little announcement that is made about it in this publication called Publishers Marketplace. And I think generally film scouts and stuff will sort of look through there and look at, because the announcement gives a little like 2 cents description of a
Okay.
book. Right. So once we announced that the book was bought by the publisher, which was a year and a half before it was set to actually come out, um, we got some interest. I honestly can't even remember where it was from, but we got interest from someone and they read it and they said, "Can I give this to a friend I know at Hallmark?" And we said, "Of course." And then it like and I wasn't expecting much because it is such a spicy book. Um but we kind of just got word that it was moving up, and then um they optioned the film rights, which means, they kind of reserve the right to buy the rights. So it's not the full like buying the film rights, but it means nobody else can. And so they actually optioned the rights before the book came out. Um, and so that was just sort of in the background, and they renewed it once, and then we weren't sure what was going to happen, and most options never turn into movies, because it's so hard to get a movie made. The great thing about Hallmark is that because they do so much in house, we felt like the odds were higher, but still you never know. um and then I found out I found out that they bought the rights because I got a Google alert. I have a Google alert set for the name of my book, so if it's mentioned in press, I get an email. And I actually got a Google alert, and it was about a little press release that
Wow.
said Hallmark green lights Burning with Benefits. And it said, I that article came out on May 2nd, I think, and it said filming was going to start May 12th. And I was just like, what? What is
Oh
happening?
my
And
God.
yeah. So that was how I found out. And it was just, and then to find, I mean, you know, I think everyone loves instant gratification, right? But like, I love instant gratification. And so this project has honestly been so great for that because like I found out they bought the rights. They started filming it 10 days later, and it came out 3 months after that. And so it was just like, whoa, oh my God, like it was so overstimulating and exciting and overwhelming. But um yeah, so that's how I found out. And a lot of folks have asked if I was like involved in any way, and I was not involved in any way at all. So and that was really totally fine for me. Like I really like it. when something is taken off my plate. Um, and I really think that, I mean, I even felt like this to an extent in publishing my book. It's like, okay, it's out in the world, so it's out of my control now, right? Like people are going to read it and they're going to think whatever they will of it. They're going to interpret it however they want. And it felt like with the movie adaptation, it was like, okay, they're going to turn this into something else, right? I don't know what that's going to be. It's out of my hands, it's out of my control. And it's going to be a new thing. And it was really fun and exciting for me to like just kind of watch that happen, you know? So,
Yeah, so when that heard that happened, that you said you were not involved with anything. What did you think of the movie when you started to feel content with the movie? Darn it, less spicy, but that's Hallmark. But did you feel content with how it kind of like matched up to the book and keep it at the Hallmark level? I think both the movie and the book were fantastic for different reasons. For Hallmark reasons, for
mhm.
clean, gentle romance, and book in the world is your oyster. Spicy, mystery, romance, killing, politics, whatever.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I love the movie. I absolutely love it. And I got a screener of it from Hallmark, and so I was able to watch it a little before the premiere,
Mm.
and I was so nervous. And so I just sat in my, I was waited till no one was home, and I sat on my bed under my covers, and I had my laptop there. And because I was just like,
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, I had a good feeling, and honestly, I had a really good feeling because before when the movie was announced, but before they had announced the cast or anything, right? That's when I really started going down the rabbit hole of like Hallmark culture and Hallmark like online communities. And um I started this one Instagram account, Hallmark 24/7, was like posting things about the cast of the movie. And so then I was like, oh my gosh. So then I start following Rachel Boston, and one of her stories, it just so happened that the day that I found out she was the person cast in the movie, she had a story, an Instagram story up that was just a video of a stream with trees, which we now know is, it's like one of the settings in the movie. It was just a video of that with a little quote about um, how listening to birdsong is good for your health. And I saw that and was like, okay, this is going to be okay. Like, she gets it. Like, something about the book is making its way into this process because they're outside, it's beautiful, and Rachel Boston is thinking about birdsong. So, like, this is all going to be fine, you know? And that actually really helped me in staying relaxed, like, as before I could see anything, and then I was able to connect with Rachel a little bit, and she told me she had read the book and loved the book, and so that also just really helped me to know, like, okay, these folks are familiar with this story, this like other version of the story, you know, and so that really helped me feel relaxed through the process. And then the more every time they would release little behind the scenes pictures, I was like, oh my gosh, like it's so beautiful there. These people are outside. I mean, like, for me, that was just, yeah. So then when I watched the movie, I felt like the heart of the movie, the heart of the book was intact in the movie, right? And that obviously tons of things are going to change, but that I really feel like the heart was the same. Um, and I was actually pretty surprised by how many lines from the book, how much dialogue was like directly moved over. And particularly like for me, the book is all about discovery, right? That was sort of like my touchstone word. And there's a moment where John is teaching Celeste how to bird, and she's like, she's all like, let's go win this contest. What's that bird? What's that bird? And he's like, slow down, slow down. We start with discovery and we go from there. And that was really like my calling card for the book. I mean, like, that's anytime I sign a book, I say, here's to discovery. Like, it's on my bookmarks. I mean, and so when he, and it was in one of the previews before I watched the movie that Andrew Walker says that. And like when I was watching the movie and he said that, I just had to pause and like cry like a baby, you know? And my husband, the first time he watched it, he says that line and I hear him like sniffing next to me, right? Like so those that just to know that like that's that spirit, which for me was so important about for me the spirit of bird watching that I wanted to convey in the book, that like that was part of the movie, was just like yeah, really really amazing. I really loved it.
That is amazing. I mean, Rachel Boston, I have not met her, but I do connect with her from like time to time with all of her movies. Andrew
Mhm.
and I connect, we connect. But those two characters and actors are perfect for the movie. Like you said, the movie was all about her, and it was all about John teaching the light to slow
Mhm.
down, take
Mhm.
advantage of nature, and burning and the last was teaching John to like move on. Don't worry about your act. If she's
Right.
jealous, let her be jealous.
Yeah.
You have me. And I looked
Yeah.
back to the whole and I was like, oh no, John, don't worry about your act. Focus on the last. Your act
Right.
is mean.
Yeah.
No, no,
Right.
I was perfect. I did one funny reel on my Instagram page when John and Black were looking for that specific burn. So I did a reel and I sent it to Andrew and Andrew was like, yeah, my because you're amazing. You are like the queen of reels. I mean, heck, you're even a better actor than I am. And I
That's
guess
so
I'll
funny.
have to wait for a phone call from Hallmark.
Yeah, come on, Hallmark.
Oh, definitely. I will. I will. I mean, I could be that cousin. I could be the little annoying Bradley sister. He could do annoying. Absolutely not. You can be
Aw.
my younger sister, but wiser and keeping me on my toes. I'm like, that sounds better. That sounds better. We need a movie together.
Yes, I love it.
It was beautiful, and I really loved the hurt because Hallmark is all about hurt and learning and
Hmm.
connecting and opening people up. So it was just a good movement. I was really surprised, like that when some of the lines and some of the scenes, I'm like, ooh, I'm like watching. I think it was at a party, at a community party at her school at the dance. I was like, I remember
Yeah.
the crowd, but there was something different in the book.
Yeah, yeah.
The
It
bowling alley. Oh,
I
and
mean the bowling alley is
oh, I can't get enough of that.
no, I mean the way that they did that in the movie, I cannot get enough of that scene. It is just so well done. And oh yeah, I just that scene is the one I rewatch and rewatch. And you know, yeah, I mean it's just there's so much about it. And honestly, it was really cool too because my kids, I have three kids and they obviously they have not read the book. Um and so it's been a super fun way to let them connect with the content a little bit, right? To watch the movie because of course they can hear me they've heard a ton about the book, of course, but that's different than sort of taking part in the story, right? And even if it's not exactly the same, like I said, the heart is there, so much is there, the mother-daughter relationship is there, which was really really I think of that as like the second heart of the book, right? And that's still really that subplot's really strong in the movie. And so it was fun to watch it. Like I watched the screener at home with my 10-year-old and I could say, "Hey, that's the movie. That's a line in the movie," or "Okay, this is how it's different in the book," or and he could get to experience the story, right? In a way that's appropriate for a 10-year-old. And he was so screaming when they kissed and it was just yeah, it was super fun. And you know what you said about the things that Hallmark concentrates on, like in the truth, like I don't something in the COVID lockdown, when everyone else started like binging Netflix and shows, I stopped watching things completely. I just found like something about visual media like was just really overwhelming to me. Um, and so I didn't have any experience with Hallmark movies. And so once I knew they were greenlighting it, I was like, it was like my crash course in Hallmark movies, and I got Hallmark Plus, and I just went down the rabbit hole, right? Started watching all of Rachel Boston's movies, all of Andrew Walker's movies first, and then branching out from there. And the very first one I watched was Field Day, with Rachel Boston, and first of all, right away I was like, "Oh my God, she's perfect. Like she's absolutely perfect for this role because in Field Day she plays kind of like a harried single parent and she has this really great chaotic whimsical energy that is really balanced by like a sincerity and a maturity, right?" And I was like, and I just loved as like a mom, I loved Field Day so much. I was like crying like a baby and I was like, "Damn, like this movie is fantastic," right? And really got me in the feels. And I just each one I watched, I just felt more impressed both with like the writing. I think the dialogue is so funny and realistic in the Hallmark movies. And I love how I mean, I feel like we don't get this in a lot of media where you really do get to focus on people that are often in midlife. And so they're dealing with parenting, they're dealing with, divorce, or I really like the plots like in Reluctant Royal, which is a family favorite now. My son really likes watching that one, that Andrew Walker movie, where there's a subplot of him like and his father, right? Like seeing adults deal with their relationships with their parents, I think is something that we don't get to see a lot in media. And so yeah, every movie I watched, I just felt like more excited to see what would happen with the adaptation.
Definitely, yeah. Both were really great movies on different levels, and they show
Mhm.
that the reality of single parents trying to handle their kids and joining the school, PTA, and doing all of this kind of stuff. Staying with
Yeah.
reluctant world, long lost that I never heard of, and oh, I'm a royal, okay?
Right.
Got to connect with that. I talked to Andrew about that movie and my last podcast, and
Hmm.
I like it because he had portray the connection he had with his dad and
Hmm.
how to make
Right.
the connection with the movie. So it's really nice to see how the Hallmark stars, actors, or actresses bring a little bit of their personal life or
Yeah.
connection into the movie to make them better connect with their character or their role or the overall story of the Hallmark movie. Definitely.
Yeah, and even in movies where the plot seems like, like the plot of Reluctant Royal, like those royal movies where the plots are like seem so silly, but the emotions are still so sincere and well done. And yeah, I love them.
Definitely. Definitely. Now, from the Bernie with benefit, it like a trend. I mean, when I saw the book or heard the movie, I was like, okay, romance and burn rush, and let's see how that plays out. So, how to do like come up with a trend? I know you had an idea during COVID, not much to do. I'm gonna go burn
Mhm.
rush. So, how to come up with a different, unique trend, and it happened to work out fantastic with
Yeah,
book and the movie.
I know. It's so funny because, I love birding. And so it just felt like if you're gonna do all the work to write a book, it should really be about something that you like, right? And so that was the first thing. But and it was great because to me, right, when writing books, we're always talking about the hook, right? Like, what's the hook? What's gonna make someone want to read it? What's gonna make a publisher want to buy it? And I was like, birding's a great hook. Like to me, I was like, I mean, literally, and romance is such a huge genre, right? It's the best selling genre, but it's also like just so prolific. There's so many books, and I was like, I really don't think there's a book about bird watching yet. There are books with bird watching in them, but there's not a book where like that's the focus. Um and I mean it's funny because when we were trying to sell it to publishers, there were plenty of people who said like I don't think a bird watch, I don't think this is a good enough hook, right? I don't think, and I'm just like, well, you're not a birder. Like, you don't know the passion of these people. Right? And so it's been really cool to see people real excited about birding. It's easy to, right, when we're talking about books, we often have to describe them really quickly or describe them with like one line. And so it's very easy to tell people what it's about. Um, and yeah, and I think it was unique enough again to like be to appeal to the movie, and I think it's great how the movie kept so much bird watching, you know? I mean, that it is I saw I was watching the Deck the Hallmark podcast like review of the movie, and one of the guys is like, it's all birding. He's like, it's like 2/3 birding, and to him he like thinks birding is boring, so that wasn't a good thing about the movie. But I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, you know. um so I thought it was really cool that there was still that was still the focus, you know. And the best thing for me is when I hear from people that were inspired to start birding after reading the book, which is not something I expected or was aiming for, right? But I just feel because the reason that I love bird watching is because there's no barrier to entry, right? Like we might think of birders as people with a lot of gear or, you know, but by the way, this just makes me think of this in the book, one of my favorite lines is that I wrote is when like Celeste is observing how many pockets their clothes have, like the bird watchers, and she's talking about what she needs for the contest, and she's like, I need some of those pants with the pockets. And like that line is in the movie, and that is one of my favorite like book to movie moments. When she said, I need some of those pants with the pockets, like I went bonkers. I was like, that is my like favorite joke of the book, and I'm so excited to
No,
read
but
it.
I love it when Rachel was like, the last with Andrew, and was like, oh, I need some of those. I mean, I should laugh
Great.
at it.
But anyway,
Perfect.
so we see, you know, we think maybe you need gear, you need special binoculars. Like you really, I mean, you can, but you really don't, right? Right? If you're just noticing a bird, you're birding. I mean, if you're looking out your window while you're washing your dishes, if you're looking up as you're walking to your car, right? Like you don't need anything else. And so that's something I really, really love about it. And so it's been really, really cool to hear from people who have started birding in whatever way that means to them, right? Maybe it means just noticing things. Maybe it means really going on bird watching trips and getting bird guides, but who've started it after reading the book. Like that's just the coolest thing, you know? And I had one person here in Tucson because the movie is set in Northern California, but the book is set here in Tucson, and so all of the birds mentioned are birds in our region. And I had a local reader who said, like, I kept stopping reading because every time they mentioned a bird, I wanted to look it up so that I knew what it was. So I knew to be looking for it, you know, because these are all birds in our town. They're all our neighbors. And I just, yeah, that response to the bird watching part of it has been really, really cool.
That was really cool. Yeah, I mean, after the book and the movie, whenever I go running or walking, I see like a bird, and I was like, oh, what kind of bird? I would take a picture. I'm like, Andrew, what kind of bird is that?
Yeah,
He's like,
right.
I don't think it's a bird. I think it's a hawk. A hawk is part of the bird family. So shoot me. I'm going to keep on.
Yeah, I
Going.
got it. I'm bird watching. You're bird watching, totally.
Yeah, my husband is also a big fan of birds. Like if he's driving or he's walking, we would see, we often get a lot of hawk, kind of
Hmm.
big birds around in our area. And then we also, in the park, in the village, we would have like a hawk nest or eagle nest
Ooh,
in the
cool.
village. So my husband would like go in the summertime and she'd go in the park and she'd quietly walk around, see if we could see some action and everything.
Yeah.
And I follow some bird account and I follow some eagle ball eagle account and she's like, bird, people have no idea. Birds are majestic. Some of
Yeah.
the birds are just amazing. Some birds are like, okay, birds, cool.
Sure.
But some birds are just like amazing, like the blue heron, bald
Hmm.
eagle, or whatever kind of hawk. that white spotted owl, that shine that we're looking for.
Hmm.
People don't realize that some of these birds are endangered or you rarely see them.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool to kind of like experience that outside of the movie and the book. So I'm starting to appreciate nature more. Every time I
Yay.
read books about nature, birds, bees, animals, whatever you name it.
Yeah, that's definitely because I mean, yeah, you can just tell by reading my writing that I love nature and I'm always going to choose plots that put people outside most of the time, because that's just what I love, what I like to write, and I think in the end, I hope that other people get good things out of my book, but the only thing I can control is that I love my book, right? I can't control how anybody else receives it. And so I have to just write the things I love, and I love people being outside. I've been thinking about things that are always in my book, like people outside are always in my book. House plants. I feel like everybody in my book like has a lot of house plants. That's always something that comes up. And even in my next book, it's about beekeeping, but there's just still, you're always hearing birds in the background. They're always kind of making cameos because I can't help it.
Definitely. Now, for with writing, do you have a genre preference? I know you started a new couple of new books, but what genre or what themes are you more comfortable writing? Going on back, you ever think about writing something way off, something to
Mm-hmm.
challenge yourself?
Yeah, yeah. So right now I'm write romance, like rom-coms. That's what I'm contracted to write for the next couple of books. And that's what I
Okay.
really enjoy writing too. I do think about writing like a mystery, like a cozy mystery. Um, I think that would be really fun. I think it would be fun to write something that my kids could read more of. Like my younger son really wants me to write a cozy mystery and name, like I told him we came up with this idea for a mystery, and there was going to be like a talking parrot named after him, so he's very excited for that to happen.
Oh,
So
another
someday,
birdie, Papa King.
someday, if I have time for that. I really love to read like paranormal and sci-fi and fantasy, but I don't see myself, I personally don't have the interest in like world building in that way, like creating a magical system or all the world building of writing a fantasy. So I don't see myself going in that direction, but I think I could do like a fun mystery or something.
Well, I'm hoping to look forward to, I know the next couple of books, the contract, romance, comedy, whatever. But hopefully, once that's completed, hopefully it will open up some doors for some new ideas, some new genres. Because as you can see from my many bookshelves, I can read any book. I'm at the
That's
book of the
awesome.
math club, and my
Hmm.
friends that are trading books on Instagram. You read it, you read it, you have to read it, you read it. So, yeah, and then my husband was like, "How many books did you buy this month?" I'm like, "I pre-ordered 3 books, and I bought the book of the Math Club, and I saw a couple of books on sale for maybe maybe 10. But I'm slowing down because I have
Yeah.
all the top bookshelf to read.
Yeah, you're like, I gotta read these before I get more.
Exactly. So I'm trying to work on that. I mean, I added a new book on the top of the shelf yesterday. So I'm like, okay, I gotta stop. But that
You're like,
book I bought was 100 Rules to Live by 100 with Dick Van Dyke.
oh
So
wow.
it's good so far. I read it, I was
Yeah.
like, so good so far. So that's my last purchase. So I'm ready that. So I'm gonna go on to the next book and try to clean up my shelf because I
Yeah.
need another bookshelf, another one. I just got a new one last week.
It looks pretty full already.
I know, I know. I mean, the bottom two shelves are not fully got.
Uh-oh, okay.
So I have the room,
There's time. There's time.
definitely. Now to wrap up with other book stuff, what is some advice you will give someone who wants to write a book or who are struggling through the process of writing, what would you tell them?
So a couple things. I think kind of like what I said before is I'm really ultimately my feelings about the book are the only thing I can control, right? And so I think you have to try to let go of some of the outside voices, either about what trends are or what people want or what's popular, and you just have to have this goal of writing what you want and really knowing, I mean, this is probably for all of life, right? Like knowing what is in your control and what isn't in your control, right? So writing a book you love is in your control. Finding people to like having other people read it and love it, that's not in your control. And so if if people a publisher doesn't buy it or something, like that's not a reflection on you as a person. That's just those are different things, right? So I think knowing what's in your control and what isn't. And then I would say something I tell myself a lot in the writing process is I think we can, as we're writing, we can get stuck in our stories and our ideas of stories and forget that we made them up, which means that they can change completely if we let them, right? So I usually try to tell people, and I tell myself this all the time, like, know the heart of your story and be ready to change everything else. And I think like I think a lot about Burning with Benefits with this because it started out as a story about a woman recovering from her divorce, getting back to her sense of self, wanting to do something new and connecting with a bird watcher to so that she could learn how to bird and learn this new thing, right? And a ton changed between where it started and where it ended. I mean, I rewrote the book. None of the words are the same from the first version to the last version. The side characters changed, plot changed. I added a whole bird watching contest, right? But the heart of the book stayed the same through the whole time, right? The heart of the book was about discovery and reinvention. And then the movie was about that too, right? Like the heart got to move over. And so I think just not being afraid to like change things you thought had to be true about your story. Because you have to leave it room to breathe and change and just remember what's at the core.
Definitely, that wonderful. Yep, that's why I have to push myself. No, because like I said, mentioned before, that I need to have people read my book just to get the idea, like hearing people reading my book from a that perspective and
Hmm.
how I was raised and how much experience or challenges or struggles I've overcome. And I try to give to my friends and to when usual people that I don't really know.
Mm,
I mean, I
right.
already sent my book to Lindsay Gibson, who is also another
Mhm.
author friend of mine. So I'm slowly to like reach out to my author friends and be like,
Yeah.
hey, would you be interested just to read it, just to
Hmm.
get an idea? But I'm asking everybody not to change my belief because adapt
Right.
voice and adapt perspective and different from
Right.
Harry perspective. All I want is um that part is confusing. Can you
Right.
explain what you mean? Expand it more. What about this? What about this? How do you feel about this? So I've had a lot of plenty of good constructive feedback. So
That's
that's
great.
very important. Like you said, do what you
Yeah.
can control and what you can't
Right.
control. Let
Right.
it be. Like you can't control with the movie. At least
Right.
you were happy, content with the movie.
Yeah.
I've always wondered with the book and the movie because I know sometimes contracts are different and contracts are tricky. Sometimes the author will come to the movie star and will
Right.
have a little bit of an input, or some
Yeah.
author have no input, but they just have to learn to adapt. They
And
change.
you just have to release, right? You just release and see what happens. And I would say like kind of, finally that like even though I wasn't involved at all in the movie, that the cast, like Andrew and Rachel specifically, were just so amazing about like kind of including me in the family of the
We
movie and tagging me and everything. And Andrew was, like especially maybe the day the movie came out or the day after, like tagged me in a post talking about like, the book as the inspiration for this and the starting point for this. And so I have just felt really like seen by them, and just like the Hallmark community as a whole has like really just took me under their wings, and I feel like I got to right, it's so cheesy to be like the best thing is the people you meet along the way, but that's really how I feel about this. I feel like I got to become part of a new community that I didn't even know existed, and that is so great and enthusiastic and so much like the community around romance books, which is that like we all want joy and happiness and right, and we love to indulge in that and to appreciate it, and so it's just been so great to get to kind of become part of the Hallmark family too.
Definitely. Wrap it up. Countdown to Christmas. Have you watched any of the Christmas Hallmark movies?
Okay. I've watched, so first of all, I'm behind, but I'm really into Finding Mr.
Okay,
Christmas.
that's fine. That's fine. You just started into the Hallmark one. You're
Okay.
absolutely fine.
So I'm a couple episodes behind, but I'm like really loving that because the guys are so nice. It's like the fun of reality TV
Oh,
without all of the like meanness that's in like other shows,
yes.
you know? It's just so sweet. And Jonathan Bennett is like I love him and his holiday movies like The Holiday Sitter, which I don't know if that was a last year movie, is my it's my top. It's my number one Hallmark movie. I absolutely love it. Um, I would watch Jonathan Bennett just like fold laundry, right? So I've been enjoying Friday Mr. Christmas. I watched the
Oh,
Montana one. What was it called? Because everyone said it had this amazing kiss in it. So
Royal Montana Christmas.
yeah. I watched that one because everyone was like, "This kiss was wild," so I had to watch it. Um, I did enjoy that one, and then I just watched the More the Merrier. Um, Rachel's last one
I
in
saw
the
that at night.
hospital.
I
Yeah,
watched
and
that. So cute.
I really loved it. I thought it was so sweet, and you know something I think, and this is the kind of stuff that I think people who don't watch Hallmark would be surprised at because I think people still think of Hallmark as really like old school. Um, and like some people asked me like, well, is it going to be okay that Celeste is divorced? Like, or is Hallmark going to let her be divorced? And I was like, yeah, like half their characters have been through a divorce or something, right? And yeah, like they've got these great queer movies and this great queer representation, and yeah, like I love this part of The More the Merrier where she's always like, don't call the nurses yours. Like the nurses do everything here, right? Like I just loved that kind of acknowledgement about like how hard it is to care for people and how much people are sacrificing and how nurses like make hospitals function, right? And the doctors need to like be brought down a peg. I just thought that was all super awesome. So I really enjoyed that one too. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to more. I just haven't had much time, but I'm gonna probably
Only
do
I have
some.
a whole list I could give you
Yeah,
after the podcast. The
I'm gonna
Finding
do some.
Mr. Christmas is amazing. I mean, I told
Yeah,
Jonathan up until good night, I'm like, why did he have to go home? And
yeah,
no, I am Team Rustin. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
Rustin
yeah.
will be
I've been
finding Mr. Christmas.
I have been Team Rustin from episode one. I was like, it's gotta be that guy. It's gotta be
Oh,
that
yeah.
guy. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's so fun. I
Yeah.
love it.
And I was surprised producer. If you look up on my podcast channel tomorrow, Rustin's episode is going to be released.
Oh
The
my God. Okay.
girlfriend, you're
I'm
going to get all the
excited.
tea from
I'm
that podcast.
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
All right, well, thank you, Sarah. I'm going to wrap this up. So I really appreciate your time and flexibility in the last couple of months trying to make our schedule coordinate with our busy lives and the daylight saving and multiple time zones to come
Yep,
onto the cast chat
we
tonight.
did
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you so much. This was really, really fun to chat with you. This was awesome.
Have a great night, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.